So I am back, and this video is dedicated to Christ Anthem, or however you pronounce it. This is just a basic tutorial on how to use FL Studio, and I'll apologize in advance if I miss things or go over things too fast. But I just want to show how I operate in FL Studio, and hopefully wherever I do in here, you can pick up on majority, if not all of it. So, the list of what I'm gonna do in the video is I'm gonna show you not only how to make a beat, but show you where options and certain menus are at, and then and show you how to render it after you compose something and arrange it. So let's get right into it. What I got right here, what I clicked on is the channel rack. The channel rack is very important. The channel rack is where you put all of your audio and instruments into. So like for example, right now it is highlighted on the sampler. The sampler is a tool, is an instrument tool that basically you can put any sound into the sampler and then you're able to manipulate it. So like for example, I clicked the sampler and the sampler window came up, and to put a sample into the sampler, you're gonna click this folder, and then so I can see another one that pops up and it's showing me a folder that is already predestined or directed to. And if I click on the file, it'll preview the sound, which is very helpful. So let's say I want that sound. I hit open, and now that sound is, selected. And what I did is normalize it by clicking this button right here under Create Computer Effects. Under the effects target, this little thing, which is default, and under this pre-computed effects, this is where you can do a lot of things to the sample that you chose. You can put it in reverse, you can swap the audio to one side, to another side. You could fade the audio to one side. You could have the audio in reverse polarity. So if you got a phasing issue, you could just hit this button. Same thing here, except it's a DC offset. And these wheels right here are very important when it comes to the sampler. So let's put it back to normal. Sorry about that. Under pre-computed effects, you can change the start of the sample, which is huge because you couldn't do it in the second to last version, latest version of Fruity Loops. You couldn't do that until now. You can change the length of the sample. So actually, let me do a demo of the start sample. Okay, and you can change the length of the sample. As you can hear, you can have the sample fade in, fade out, Fade out. Crossfade it. And you could trim. And over here in playback, you could offset the start. So as you can see, you can start it from anywhere within that sample, which is dope. Reset that by right clicking on the wheel and hit reset. And over here is important as well. Time stretching. Let's use another example so I can really demonstrate how it works. Let's see. Let's use a phrase.
Take a little time to hold your head up. Sun shining on my head.
Let's use that.
Sun shining on my head.
Now with this time stretching, instead of like manipulated with effects in like the mixer bus, which I'll explain later, you can time stretch stuff here, whether it be the pitch.
Sun shining on my head.
You got the multiplicator right here.
Sun shining on my head.
Which changes
Sun
the speed.
shining on my head.
And you got a regular time stretch, which keeps everything in time, but you can stretch it to however long you want. I should say this keeps everything in pitch, the time wheel. So you can stretch it to however you want, but it will keep the same pitch. Or you can keep it on the same beat, depending on however you want it. Yeah, another thing I forgot. Under pre-computed effects, if you hit this little switch thing right here, this effect switch, it goes into another option. I should say another menu. And this allows you to distort things, change the EQ of things, the ring modulation, the cut, and resonance filter, and pogo, stereo, reverb, and so on and so forth. So let me get another sample so I can show you what you can use it for. Let's say I got snare sample. Now that's in the sampler, and then I'm under this menu. What I can do is hit this clip button, and I can boost the sample until it clips, and when it clips, it becomes distorted. Obviously, you don't want it too distorted, but you know, a little bit of distortion can give it that sound. And of course, you can shift the frequency balance by using this EQ. So you sound muffled, sound snappy, and of course we got the ring modulation mix. So okay, and I can also choose different frequencies within that ring modulation. me exaggerate it. And then of course you got your cut and the filter, resonance. You got your reverb. And then of course you could change the type of reverb. We'll click an A, B. And then you got your stereo delay. Give it a, sound of stereo. And you can also do the pogo effects as well. And you can put the amount. Okay, also there's more options within the sampler. You got your envelope, file your envelope. I don't want to go into too much detail, but your ASDR, which is very important, and you can use it to have a certain sound. You got your filters over here, and then you got your LFO right over here. And let's go into the next option, the miscellaneous, to me, which is the most important one. Over here, you got your cut group. So basically, you could trigger the sounds consecutively, and it will cut each other off, so it won't overlap. That's what this is for. You got your level adjustments, so you could still turn it up. Everybody says, "Oh, wow. Well, if you put Sounds in FL Studios too low, well, you could turn it up here. You could turn it up here on the channel mixer, or you could turn it up under pre-computed effects." You got this polyphony, so if you got an instrument or a sample, you can put it in mono. You can turn the portamento on, so it can glide from one note to the next. And this right here, to me, is the most important thing, because you can shift the timing of the sample coming out. Obviously, you got your gate here. This is not the swing, because the swing is actually over here. This is the amount of swing mix that you could change. So, like, if this is 60 over here, you can turn this completely off, but the swing will still affect the rest of the instruments over here. But you could just turn the swing off of one instrument within this option, if that makes sense. You also got your echo delay, which you can use over here. If you got a instrument, like a virtual instrument, like a plugin, you can turn on the arpeggio or arpeggiator. Down here, this is your little keyboard, and obviously you could change the main pitch, change the tuning as well. And yeah, sampler is very important. You can use the sampler for pretty much anything that you want, whether it be one shots, or you can manipulate it to make chords. And with the sampler, you can also put it into the step sequence, which is this right here. Obviously, these are fourths, which is I forgot my math and in musical terms. I think it's 32s. But anyways, these are 16 steps. Obviously, all these black steps are a quarter note. I should say altogether is a quarter note. So you got quarter note, quarter note, quarter note, quarter note. And, that's a measure. Because usually things are 4/4. But also you could change that as well. But, anywho, on the channel rack where you put all your instruments at, to select an instrument, you can hit this plus button. And then as you can see, the menu comes up and you can choose any instrument. Or another way to choose an instrument to put it into the channel rack is hit add, and it gives you the same thing. So let's select instruments to put into the channel rack. FL keys. Let me choose sound. And let's go into the next phase, which is the piano roll or composing. So I right clicked on the channel that's selected, and menu pops up, and there's piano roll. Click piano roll, and now we're in it. Most DAWs got piano rolls, so hopefully you should be familiar with that. If not, to your left is your keyboard, or you could say your pitch, your notes. It goes up and down from from 0 octave to 10th octave. So 5 is the middle, and then going this way is your bar, your measure, and the time, going from left to right. So with this piano roll, I can compose anything that I want. Right now, by default, the draw is selected, which is this pencil icon at the top of this piano roll window. As you can see, it's a window. And I can draw however I like. And if I want to, expand the duration of the note, I just click and drag the end. And I can pull it however long I want, however short I want. Well, not however short I want, but you get the picture. And then you got paints, which draws consecutively after the note that you just drew. You got this paint and drum sequence. You got your mute, delete. You can also slice notes into however many pieces. You got your select tool. You got your zoom tool. You can zoom in, zoom out of the grid. And then you got your playback preview. And you got your little play and pause within the pattern, because right now we're in pattern mode according to this, and I'll explain that a little bit later. And also, as you draw notes and stuff like that, you typically, people will have this snap to grid on, and wherever you draw will snap to the grid. You can also turn it off as well to none, and then I can place it wherever I like. And to me, the none or the grid turning off is very important because music is not perfectly snapped to the grid. Uh, this over here at the top is the tools, which is very important. I won't go through all these, but these allow you to get into more detail or accentuate the notes that you drew. And this down arrow, it allows all the options to come out. As you can see, file, open score, import MIDI file. You cut, copy, and paste. You can shift left, shift right, transpose up and down. Obviously, you got your snap to grid. You can group stuff, change the channel, so on and so forth. As you can see, once we draw something here, it'll show in the channel rack. Not perfectly, but it's a good good actualization. Now, let's see. Once you create, let's say, oh, I forgot to mention this as well. Actually, let me keep this. As you see, I got my snare and sampler, and I can, I guess, draw in the step sequence with the steps. So let's say I want that. These are on the 2 and the 4s. And if I hit play, obviously it sounds horrible, but I'm showing you that there's 2 ways of drawing. You can draw it like that, or you can draw like in the general. And once we start creating within the channel rack, it becomes a pattern, which we are already in automatically. It's in pattern mode. And this window, I don't know if you can see this. There we go. This window is the playlist. And this is where you arrange anything your heart desire. You can post the patterns, your pattern, into this playlist, so you can arrange. And we got the same options up here as we do in the piano roll, and we can edit within the playlist. Also, another thing, let's open up the channel rack, which is usually up here in the top right corner. Open that back up. Let's say if you got audio clips, what makes audio clips different from the sampler is ow. You can put any type of audio in here. Let's see. There we go. Did it select? Weird. It's kind of lagging. But you can put any type of audio in here, and then you can put it directly into the playlist. Now you could draw patterns, uh, I, sh- I should say, drawing the step sequencer with audio clip, but it's more suited for the playlist. And some people actually draw their drum beats on the playlist. I personally don't, but a lot of people do. So if you feel comfortable, that's cool. And once you draw into the playlist, in order to play what's going on here, you gotta change the format from pattern mode, because in pattern mode, it's only gonna play what's going on in the channel rack. So you're not playing this. So to play what's going on in the playlist, you hit the song mode, and now you're playing stuff in the playlist. And right now it's the audio clip of a snare. I mean a rim shot. So yeah, you can put everything in one track, or you could put it into multiple tracks. But if I were you, I would keep everything organized. So you might want to put all your snares on the track one, and you could also sign them like this by right clicking stuff like that. You could also sign stuff, but but anywho, um, let me perform this. Not perform, but let's just make a song from scratch. So I'm gonna hit File, New, save changes. Nope. So let's go into the channel rack, which is in the top right corner. Click the button channel rack. I'm just showing you how I make a beat. Samplers on defaults. Let's choose the sound. Actually, let me do this. Let's say if I want to sample, like use a sample and chop the sample up, I'll hit this plus button. And typically I use Fruity Slicer. Some people use MPC or Slicix. Slicix is good, but I find it a little difficult. Simply because I really haven't studied it yet. So it's important to learn about all these instruments. That way, you can do what you need to do. But anyway, so I'm going to use Fruity Slicer to put in a sample. That way I can chop a sample. Let's see. Let's find a melody within this folder. Yeah, once I select a sample, it automatically slices it up based on the what's the term? I can see it right now. But what I'm gonna do is hit the slice. These are like the slicing options. You guys touch a method. Usually I don't mess with it unless I'm trying to get a certain sound. But I'm gonna change the auto slicing. I'm gonna change the beats. triggering these slices by pressing the keys on my keyboard. Let me see. The only reason I put in 110 so it could sound normal. Obviously, I could put it at any tempo that I want, but just for the sake of the video, I'm just trying to make it sound normal as possible. As you can hear, there's a little bit of popping, but that's coming through the slicing, the auto slicing. So let me change the tap. Now that popping is gone. Well, almost gone. Let's say if I like this sample, usually I build the beats, a drum beat around it. So I'm gonna find the snare. I'm gonna cut itself so the sounds won't repeat over itself, like overlap. I'm gonna turn this up. So this is at 110. You can put it on the 3. Let me since the sample is so long, I'm gonna shorten it. Actually, it's a little bit too slow for me. Let me speed it up. I'm just trying to be musical right now, so don't mind me. pausing while I'm doing this stopping and starting. I'm using the space bar. So open up another sampler. Let's see, symbols. So yeah, I'm using the step sequencer. Let's see. Let's see. Probably use flex. Yeah, if you join the step sequencer, they're at infinity in this shape, but I could change the infinity and give it a length. What I like. Let's see. It's at none. Actually, let me undo that. Oh yeah, you could undo stuff by going to edits, undo. Now that I got the snap to grid, I can expand it to only 3/4. Let's see. Excuse me. Woo! My arm's getting numb. So, just for the sake of the video. Let's go. It's in D. Oh, sorry. Why is it sound off? Also, if you want slides in 808s, you can do it 2 ways. What I did right there is I put a notes in between these two. Let's see. And what I'm going to do right here is double click, and it's going to give you note properties. I could pan them, change the release velocity, the filtering, and the pitch. What I'm going to do is select this here, which is slide, and watch. Let's see if they come out right, because I probably need to extend this note. Let's see. say I like what's going on, I could draw the pattern that I made in the channel rack and put it on the playlist. Change it into the sound mode. Since there's no soundtrack, but let's say I want to give these tracks some purpose, or I want to give the pattern more of a purpose. Let's say I right click on the pattern itself, and then I do a split by channel, which means all the channels will be split up, so the kick, snare, hi-hat, they're all going to be separated into their own pattern, if that makes sense. So now I got my snare pattern. Let me change the colors on all of these so we won't get different ones confused, and all these are coming up the same color, which is weird. Let's change. Okay, close enough. Now we got this grid on. Let me change the bar so it could really snap. So let's say right now we are arranging in the playlist. As you can see, playlist arrangements. And showing which one is selected at the top. So let's say here's our sample right here. We're going to use 16 bars. Excuse me, my head's getting low. Let's say we want our sample to start at the beginning by itself. Let's click this name, prepare. Let's say, oh, I want to take this part out. I could use this slicer thing, and obviously it's connected to the, to the grid part. Let's say I want to take that part and have it drop. Now let's go back to playlist. Cool. See, that's cool. Another thing I forgot to do or mention is the mixer. So as you can see, I got all these channels, which are instruments. What I just did there is I click and hold and I dragged all the way down. So all the channels are selected. And what I'm going to do here is click this arrow in the channel rack. And then I'm going to hit assign selected to free mixer tracks. So as you can see, it's 1 through 7. And when I open this mixer track or click on it, set mixer track, mixer rack. It's 1 through 7 here, and your mixer obviously is your most important thing. You can put effects on it, and then you can control the faders, which is like volume or amplification. And so as you can see, you can tell it's in the buses. These are buses because of the signal. Each bus got slots, EQ, input, audio input, audio output, so you could assign mics or guitars or whatever to a bus. But for the most part, you're going to be using these slots to put effects onto the track bus, the mixer bus, whatever you want to call it. You got your delay, distortion, dynamics, filters, gains, envelopes, visual readers, excuse me. So let's say I want my drums to snap. I want my drums to be loud, but I don't want to distort it. I don't want the drums to distort once it goes above 0 dBs, because once it goes above that, it sounds horrible. I could use a fruity clipper, and it will. Oh, chin's hurting. Basically, clip the sound at 0. So you got your EQs. You can put it in. You can replace them in this slot or put it in another slot. So. Obviously, faders, anything on that bus, I can turn up, turn down, but you want to keep it at the default level. Let's see. Obviously, you can reset them by right clicking on them. Oh, I forgot there was another option. So let's say I like the arrangement. I like how I mix the track using EQs, compressions, or whatever. I said, oh, this is a hot mix. It sounds good to me. I want to export this, whether it's to export it into an audio file. I can also upload a file. I can zip it into a loop. But let's say I want it into MP3. Okay, I name it something like Yummy. Now I got this rendering window coming up, and mode, you can choose full sound mode or pattern. It's in full sound mode, so that's what I want. Obviously, you got the different file types. Stereo, you can choose the dip rate, the bit rate, quality. You want to put it at the best quality if you can. This right here is split mixer tracks. It's important. Let's say you need to export it to an engineer or another producer, or export it to Pro Tools. You can use this and split all the tracks into individual tracks. And then now I will have every single piece, whether it be the hi-hat, kick, or snare, and then I can put it into Pro Tools and use it however I like. But let's say everything's cool. Okay. Hit start to render, and now it's done, and now it's an audio file. Let's see if there's anything missing. Obviously, I didn't really talk much about this transport area. Obviously, you got your plus. I mean, not your plus. Your play button, stop button. Your modes, song mode, which is the playlist. Pattern mode is more towards a channel rack, if that makes sense. Obviously, you got your record button, and let's say I want to record something into the channel rack or into the playlist. I can do that. Hit this record button, a window should pop up. You can record into the audio editor. Most people don't, simply because it's like you gotta edit within the app called Edison, and then you put it back into the channel rack or into the playlist. Most people don't do that. But anyways, you can record it as an audio into the playlist as an audio clip. You can record the notes and animation, which is basically recording. It'll basically look like what Flex is looking like right now in the channel rack. So it would record all the notes, put it in there, put it in there, and they got everything so you can record and all it put it into all of these options. And then let's show them some more help. Obviously, if you need more help, it goes straight to the website and show you. And this is also an important thing too. Let's say if you're using the mic, I totally forgot about this too. If you're using the mic, what you want to do is select the bus, select the audio input, which could be a mic. Usually, if you got your mic plugged into the computer, or plugged into the audio interface, you want to select the audio interface or the mic. And then, of course, the most important thing is to click this little thing here to put it into the playlist. And also got and this mixer thing, all these buses are connected to the master. Depending on the situation, you may want them turn off the connection to the master, and the way to do that is to click off of here. Let's see. So if I click that, and I click that on that bus where I have the bass at, actually there's no bass. But if I put it back, and obviously you can use these wires to do different tricks like side chaining, for example. Like right, oops. Let's see. There we go. You can route bus tracks into other bus tracks. You can do side chaining. You can do all sorts of stuff. Yeah. And also, I forgot to mention this here. This is your track latency. This is important because you can change the timing of anything if you put an instrument into the bus track in the mixer. And then you can change the delay, whether you can have the sound come in early or late. And that's very important when it comes to music. And I should actually do a demonstration of that. Let's say if I do my 200, on the bass, as you can see, the bass is coming in super late. I can always change it. Let's see. It's coming in super early, so this is very useful for practically anything, especially drums. Also, forgot to mention this stuff right here. You got your view playlist. You click on that to bring up the playlist. Obviously, that's a playlist is the window as well, so you can turn it on, turn it off, bring it up to the front, back. Piano roll. So whatever pattern is selected at the moment. Right now it's on bass. Let's say I want the clap, piano roll, boom. Actually, it's still on bass, but I can select from here. What instrument I wanted to see. First, the piano roll. Hit this button right here. It brings up the channel rack. So you got your step sequencer right there. Hit this button right here brings up the mixer. Hit this button. It's gonna bring up this browser right here in the left corner. So if you don't want it there, you can make it disappear. But I'd rather have it there because sometimes I may need some instruments from the browser. You got your plug-in picker right here. Hit that. Bring up all the instruments and plugins, whether it's for the mixer or whether it's for the channel rack. All this is right here. And this right here, you got your tempo tapper. So if you try to match let's say acapella or instrumental or anything, you can use this, and then you can figure not even figure out, it'll actually match the tempo that you have. I should say actually change the tempo. By hitting that, it makes things easy as pie. It was at 120. And then over here, you got your metronome. If you need a metronome. That's pretty much it. Oh, also, if you go in the file, you can save your project, yada yada yada. You can import stuff like MIDI files. You can also change the template of your project by going to new, different template. Some people like to have templates with limiters, 808s, sends. Now, some people use these templates so they can get into work real fast. on and on. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you got any more questions, you can hit me in the DM, PM, whatever you want to call it. Or you can look at more YouTube videos, which goes into a lot more details than what I'm doing right now. I'll look at videos on different websites like Udemy, ImageLine, and so on and so forth. Alright, I'm gonna call it a day. Peace.